Hey everyone, Ko-osh.
Ko-osh.
Guess what today is?
September 24.
Wait. It's Girls' Day! Yay!
It is Girls' Day.
We have been waiting for this for so long. For so long.
It's the first time going to the cruise ship for both of us, and
Very excited.
And we're very excited. And for me, it's a little kind of like kind of seasick.
You're a little nervous.
A little nervous about seasick because I don't do well in closed spaces. So, is this cruise ship start rocking too much?
We got the ear patches for him, so we're hoping it works. A little foreshadowing that they didn't stay on. I don't know what we were doing wrong. We kept asking everyone we saw that had them on. It's like, do yours fall off? And I don't know. The whole package that we had, they kept falling off.
Yeah. Well.
So we woke up, and someone had requested a special breakfast.
Oh yes. We went to Kona, and I had something that I don't supposed to have because I'm a gluten intolerant, but I've been looking forward to eat those because the pancakes they were there, they're awesome.
The macadamia and pineapple pancakes.
Oh yeah. So it's worth the pain, but you know, it's really good.
Yeah, so we had a great breakfast, and then we took the path back to the Grand Floridian. We checked out, and we had our car pick us up. We decided we went concierge level. We originally didn't buy that level. We bought a stateroom on the 5th deck, and then one day I was looking through and I'm like, well, for only this much money more. And what intrigued me was the fact that it was the stateroom right next to the Roy Disney big gigantic suite. I was like, oh, that would be really cool. So we just went for it because our thought process was, if he didn't do well,
we never do it again. And we want to go all the way to make sure that we enjoy everything, and there's no...
If you're gonna do it once, knock it out of the park, we said. So we had read and read and read about how the boarding process was, but then once we got to concierge level, we realized that we did it not too far out from the cruise. I think it was maybe like a month or two.
A month or two, yeah.
And we just weren't sure, you know, what happened. I knew we boarded first, but other than that, I just wasn't sure. And I had been told, you know, race up to the rainforest room to get rainforest passes. And I had been advised to not do the buffet at Cabanas. That's where everybody goes. Go downstairs to the dining room. And so in my mind, I just see like hordes and masses of people like running everywhere. We just weren't sure what to do. So yeah, so our driver, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Our driver picked us up, I think about like 9:30. I wanted to be there by like 10:30. The driver was really nice, and so we opted for the driver versus Disney transportation because we didn't know what time we were going to get there, and we wanted the fun to start as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Can you tell we were excited?
Yes.
We were really excited. We turned the corner and there she is, the Fantasy. And I'm squealing, I'm trying to take pictures. And I'm like, oh my God, look how big she is. That's really, I had no idea. You know, we have some cruise ships that pull in along the west side of Manhattan, and we've gone over and seen them, but you know, you can only see them from the front, so you don't get a sense of how long they truly are.
Yeah.
So we were amazed. Now, I know that this photo is of the incorrect side, Our stateroom was actually on the starboard side. This photo shows the port side, but I've highlighted in red exactly where our stateroom was. And the stateroom that's circled here was actually the one adjoined to the Walt Disney Royal Suite, because Walt was on the port side. So yeah, you can see where our stateroom was. The car pulls up. Someone comes and whisks our luggage away. And were you prepared to how big the Port Canaveral was on the inside? It was massive.
It was huge.
I just had, I again, didn't know what to expect. But I guess if you've got a couple thousand people, you need to put them somewhere. We had to ask where. I knew that our check-in was in a special place, and we were directed to the complete opposite end of the room, over on the right side.
The right side, yes.
There was only a few people there. I think we only waited one person. We signed in and we got these really cool cards. Look how cool those are. Gold! Gold!
Then once we get that and they brief us a little bit about where we're going next and when we waiting area.
Waiting area. The only thing, you know what I was disappointed about the waiting area was that we didn't get to walk through that big gigantic Mickey. You know, like when you saw when you first walked in, all the way in the back on the left-hand side was that big Mickey that you walk through. The concierge level waiting area is to the right of that and a little in front of or behind, closer to the ship, let's say. And there's like frosted glass in front of it, so it kind of separated the two. And I was like, oh well, okay. So we sat down, and I guess it was like maybe 10 minutes later, and they were like, all right, come on, let's board. So there's a doorway just behind the Mickey entrance. Got all excited, and we start walking and walking, and they're pulling people aside to have their photo taken. And I looked at Chuy and I'm like, I'm too excited to stop for photos. Let's get on the ship. And we were the first people to actually step on the ship for that cruise, because so many other people were just, the people who were in front of us stopped for photos.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really cool. They announce your name and
massive entrance, and all the staff was waiting for you and welcome you and all this stuff. So it was nice. It was pretty impressive the way inside of that cruise ship is.
Yeah, so we walked in. Yay! So we're on board. Look at that beautiful peacock carpeting. And I just, I can't stop looking around. I can't stop looking around. And a cast member takes us, all of us on concierge level in groups, and we go up to the concierge lounge and we sit down, and they have little treats. And I already know I'm gonna love this because look at the Rice Krispie treats. Oh. They had those, the concierge lounge, every couple hours they put out different kinds of things to eat and nibble on. And there was a huge espresso machine. I can't say that word. I don't personally like coffee, but you had a lot of it. Was it good?
Yeah, we're good. Well, it's espresso machine, so it's really good. So it's not like
But was the coffee? Oh, I don't know. I just hear people complain about coffee's good or bad, so I didn't know if it's espresso the same.
Espresso is the same. It's a little stronger, but when you put milk or whatever you want to have it, it's
but
really
does
good.
Different brands of espresso taste better or worse?
No, espresso is the same thing. It's just the coffee is the one that brand it changed a little bit because the way they made it and what kind of coffee you want.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was good.
So the lounge was all filled up, and eventually, we got welcome packets, and then we had a cast member sit down with us and explain, you know, kind of what goes on. We were allowed to have our refrigerator and our room stocked with whatever we wanted, and we basically were like, water and Diet Coke for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really big drinkers.
And also I asked for a special request because unfortunately I suffer from sleep apnea, and before we even arrived, we ordered to get
distilled water.
Distilled water, because
they even when I sorry I didn't interrupt. When I called and mentioned his sleep apnea, without missing a beat, the cast member on the phone, this was a few months before, was like, we'll have distilled water waiting in your room. How many gallons would you like? This is so great. This is great.
So we got it, and boom, it was there.
It was there. So the other great thing about concierge level is, because there's so many, but your luggage comes within an hour, I think, of boarding the ship. And here's the hallway. Look how nice the paneling is. We knew one person that was going to be on the cruise. I had actually never met her before. She's part of the subsonic radio group. And I don't know, maybe 5 days into the cruise, we went down looking for them. We were going to leave a note on their door. We ended up actually running into them. But I guess the hallways, they were all white, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, when we saw them when we would go to restaurants and stuff. But yeah, the paneling here in the concierge level was really, really lovely.
Yeah, it was.
So before we went down for lunch, let's give you a little tour of the room.
Our room is next to the Roy Disney
connected.
Suite. It's connected, so our room is a little bit different from the other ones. Decoration-wise, it's really nice, and this is some of the stuff that we get in our room.
So there's Chuy standing in front of our door, and look to the right and down a little bit. Look at our doorbell! How awesome is that? It's a Mickey-shaped doorbell. So then when you walk into the stateroom, immediately to your left is the connecting door to the Roy Disney Suite. And to the right are 2 bathroom doors. In the first bathroom, there was just a sink and a toilet. But look at this cool marble. It was like marble everywhere. Marble for days. Marble for days. The decor in the other concierge suites or staterooms were a lighter color. So we put most of our toiletries in here. At least I did. Like all my get ready with my, for doing my hair and stuff. And in the second bathroom, the next one down, a sink. And then all the products were in there. And they had this fancy schmancy products. But I asked, we had such an amazing steward. Is that what they're called?
Yes.
I can't remember. She was so wonderful. She took such good care of us. And I asked her, I said, is there any way to get just the regular Disney Cruise Line stuff that you put in the regular room? My Disney husband, Jeff, who I've talked about in previous vlogs, got me a tube of the cream, and I love the smell, I love the texture. So she hooked us up. She was awesome. And then as you turn a little bit more, you can see the shower area, and there's a little bench area where you can, it's great for women to put their leg up there if they want to shave their legs. And then I turn the water on so you can see the rainforest effect. Ooh. And then you step in further and it opens up, and there's the bed, which was really comfortable. Yeah, I slept really well, except one night I really did feel the rocking, and I remember I was like, I think I'm going to roll out of the bed.
Well, for me, unfortunately, I didn't feel anything, but otherwise I would have been sick. But no, actually it was nice. He
does, I have talked about this earlier in, I think, yesterday's vlog, that, but in case if you didn't see it, he's okay when he has fresh air on him, but if he's inside, he just does not do well. So we had originally always known we were going to get a room with a veranda. Push came to shove, if it was really, really bad, we were gonna put him out there and he could sleep out there. Luckily that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
So continue on with the room tour. I loved this little sofa so much. It was so comfortable, wasn't it? Oh my gosh. So then the desk had so many outlets. It was great. We could always be charging everything. And the other nice thing about concierge level, they set up the room, you know, and I didn't know this, but typical rooms, in order to get the lights to work, you have to slide your room key in a little slot when you first get in. And then when you leave, you have to take your room key. So when you slide it out, all the lights, everything goes off. And I was like, oh man, I don't do well in heat. And I was really afraid that we were going to be walking back into our stateroom and it would be kind of hot and stuff. But no, concierge level, you know, they hook you up. The light stays, you can have all the lights. We didn't. I'm always one of those anal retentive conscientious people who I'm always like turning off all the lights and everything before we leave. But that was a really extra nice treat too. Stocked refrigerator with whatever we wanted and the lights, that was great. So then, as I said, the desk had all this stuff on it. There was there a TV over there too, right?
Well,
in addition,
there was a TV right in front of by the
and the bed, right? But wasn't there also a little TV on the desk?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So the desk had a TV, and then, as Chuy just said, when you laid in bed, look at that. I like to watch that. It was from the captain's
view.
What's it called?
From the bridge.
Oh, the bridge. Thank you. Yes, couldn't remember. So that was fun watching that. Except at night, couldn't see anything. And we went out, checked out our little patio. It wasn't too cramped out there. There was 2 chairs. The room we originally had was
wider.
It was like at the back of the ship. It was like a U where the staterooms were, because then up above that was a lot of the kids area. And the last room on the left and the right, the deck was ginormous, and they had 2 lounge chairs out there, 2 regular chairs. You could play like shuffleboard practically. It was huge.
The only concern that we had is because we were in the back of the train, in the back of the cruise ship is where the engines are, and we were afraid it's going to get very noisy. So we decided to move to the concierge level so we don't have to worry about that, and it was worth it.
Yeah, it was a lot of
cha-ching, to get over there.
Cruising in general is not cheap unless you're in a room, an inside cabin room kind of thing. And I know Disney cruises in general are more expensive than other ones, but I'll tell you, it spoiled us. And every now and then we talk about, oh, are we gonna do another one? Maybe. I don't know, but it's gonna be really hard not to do concierge level. Oh, that was awesome. Anyway, so let's continue. So now you can see in this photo, the stateroom next to us had a really big deck, because that was a 1-bedroom suite. So it was basically just 2 staterooms with the dividing wall missing. And the other thing that we had at our disposal, the lounge was the concierge lounge was amazing. Like I said, always had cocktails and snacks. In the morning, it was, continental breakfast type of things. They even went and got you gluten-free muffins.
Yeah.
That were really good. I liked them. But we had right inside the lounge, there was a staircase that went up to the 13th deck, and we had our own private sun deck area, which you can see here. The only thing I didn't like about that was because of all the glass partitions to separate it from the rest of the ship, you got no air. And the one time I went up there,
it was too hot.
It was within like 20 minutes, I was just sweating so much. I didn't like it. We had a couple cocktail parties up there, but again, like, I didn't really like. We didn't stay too long because it was just too hot up there.
Yeah.
And I've heard that they were gonna. I for some reason I want to think fans. They were gonna do something like that. I don't know, but sadly, it's such a beautiful area, and it just, no one was ever. We would always go up. We always sat on. Our little place to sit was in the front on deck 13, where they have the satellite. It's called the satellite fountain or something. And there was lounge chairs all around, and we always sat up there in because there was an area that always had shade.
Yeah.
So we sat up there, but that's how we would go out, is up through our little internal staircase through the concierge lounge and then out, and boom, we were right there. But we enjoyed that better because then we could look at the ocean. That's the other thing, you couldn't look at the ocean. I mean, we were gonna be, it took like 3 days before we got, the third morning we were in Tortola. That was our ports of call, Tortola, and then St. Thomas. Now, I have to tell you, the whole reason we took this cruise, this specific cruise, was when, not too long after Chuy moved here, the subways ran this huge advertisement, and all along the entire subway, we have advertisements. It was for the Virgin Islands. And he would come home and be like, I want to go to the Virgin Islands. Let's go to the Virgin Islands. But we're kind of spoiled by Cancun. You know, that's where he's from. All of his family's there. And when I would always look at prices, we could do like 2 or 3 Cancun trips for the price of one St. Thomas trip. So we've just never made it. But so this was, you know, we were excited to get to St. Thomas. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so yeah, so that's why we took this particular cruise. Tortola, St. Thomas, and then Castaway Cay. We were really excited about Castaway Cay.
Yes.
All the pictures, and everyone always is going on and on and on how beautiful it is. Okay, so I digress. We leave the area, we're gonna go get some lunch. So we head from the front of the ship, and they have the main deck area all set up with chairs. There's the aqueduct goes overhead. Now, I wanted to do the aqueduct, and every time I mentioned it to him, he was like, nah, not now. And if I pushed, he probably would have gone, but I didn't want to make him do. And I'm like, I get claustrophobic, and every time I thought about it, I'm like, what happens if it stops and I'm in the tube? What happens if it stops and I'm in the tube? And I would start to panic. So there's a part of me, as much as I wanted to do it, I mean, look, 1 million people go down it and never have any trouble, but I was afraid like I would like clog it up and the water would start building up. I had this real big fear about being in a space that fills up with water. I know it's weird, but I can't watch any movies where someone is like, you know, gasping for air in this little tiny area. I can't watch it. So we end up back in the main lobby. It's so beautiful. Look at the big staircase. There I am with Minnie. And it was all decorated for Halloween. It looked really cool. We love this tree. Had all these pumpkins, and later we found out that they would do storytelling around the tree.
Yes.
Because it was Halloween time, they would tell like little ghost stories and stuff. So we're attempting to find the Enchanted Garden. That ended up being our first night and last night. You know, you're given a rotation. It ended up being our least favorite
place. Yeah.
It was pretty, but it's also, in addition to cabanas upstairs on deck 13, Enchanted Cafe is where you could go for lunch. So down we went, but I didn't realize that you couldn't get from the front of the ship to the back of the ship necessarily. We had to go down and then over, and we were a little confused the first day. So we end up all the way in the very, like, animator's palette, I think is where we ended up, and someone was kind enough to direct us where we go. But we had fun. Woohoo! We had fun because yeah, no, I'm not excited. So we get into Enchanted Garden. It's really pretty. And the lights up above, throughout the meal, they go from being, no, they're closed. And then slowly through the meal, they open up. It was really pretty. These really cool, like, banquettes. It turns out, I'm guessing they were probably for only concierge level people, because that's the only other people who sat in there. We recognized them from the lounge. They were nice. I felt bad that we were just 2 people and we were taking up this huge, you know, because the table probably sat 4.
Yeah.
So, oh well. We ended up running into the chef from Palo.
Yeah.
I saw him and I saw his name tag and I was like, oh, we're going to Palo brunch. I'm so excited. That's the biggest thing everyone raves about. He goes, oh, thank you. We're gonna have a great time. And we were at the dessert area and he goes, get the carrot cake. It's awesome here. And I love carrot cake and it was, yeah, you don't like it, but it was really good. So then after lunch, it was I wasn't, you know, it was okay. The food in general, I thought the whole week was great. But I don't know, something about Enchanted Garden, yeah.
It was okay. It was okay food. It wasn't
our favorite. Our favorite was here, Royal Table. This was our favorite. We ate lunch here almost every day, just because we loved it, thought it was really pretty.
Yeah.
So we're just walking around, checking everything out. Again, look at all the Halloween decorations. And just off of the main lobby area where you embark onto the ship, there's this beautiful mural of Cinderella's coach. Then it's getting close to leaving.
To departure.
So we go up to the room and all of a sudden you can feel the engines. And I know we sat out on our balcony and watched. Excuse me.
People saying goodbye to us from land, and we're like, "Hey, have you?"
It's time to leave. You know, I actually never heard that when we were on the ship. I don't think I heard it.
Before, no.
Because we were in the room. At that point, when we came back from lunch, our suitcases were there and we unpacked. And then that's when we went out to watch the ship pull away. So we had gone up one deck below us.
Yes.
Was the rainforest spa. And quite a few of my friends who have done cruises said, go, 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 go. So we went, bought a week pass, and we went down there prepared. You know, we went through all the little water, you know, there's all these different stalls with water, and I'm like, you know, okay, I don't know. We did that in Cancun too at the Iberostar Grand. Remember, they had all the different, I don't know. I just rather sit in water. I don't know. I didn't need it. Because with my glasses, and then I wasn't necessarily going to get my hair wet. But okay, so then we go up. Our room is actually right behind Jesus and up one level. When we leaned over our balcony railing, we could look down into that area where Chuy's standing right now. Now, at the time when we got in there, we were the only people there. So we went and we hung out in the little hot tub. And then people came out and got in the other one, but they were being really, really noisy. And my understanding was it was kind of supposed to be a quiet place.
But it wasn't.
But at that point, so we were like, well, let's get up. And we went in. I did love those heated lounge chairs. But again, the people came in and sat down next to us, and she's on her phone. And on her phone, and on her phone. And after 20 minutes, I just looked at him and I'm like, this is silly. This is not what I paid all this money for the week. So we left. I think we might have, I think we took a little nap, or we tried to. I was too excited. And then it was time to get ready for dinner. And we headed again, you know, it was our first rotation. It was Enchanted Garden. Now, I had been told by my one friend, Hans, who just loves Disney cruises, that, you know, the servers rotate with you. And, you know, I had read all about that. And that, you know, by the second night, they knew what your drinks were and they were always sitting there waiting for you. That never happened for us. I don't know. I'm being honest. I could see what was happening in other sections. Now, because he's a manager in a restaurant, I'm very in tune to all of this. So I was disappointed with our particular server.
Yeah.
His assistant was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. I don't remember his name. But every time it took forever for us to get our drinks every night. We always got the same thing, water and Diet Coke. And right, it would take our food would show up, and sometimes we still hadn't gotten our drinks. While the people in the section next to us, as the table was empty waiting for the people to show up, their drinks were already there waiting. And this happened night after night after night. And I don't know. The other issue I had with the food, again, I'm being honest, this was just, my thought. Most of it was really good, but it never came hot. Then I have to stop and take a pause and say, look how many meals they're trying to serve all at one time. And I give them a little bit of a break, but a lot of times it wasn't even warm. And I was like, I beg you, to our server, I'm like, can you just bring me something that's hot? And sometimes it would be, but the only place I really had hot food was at lunch at Royal Table. I love that place, and we had a really nice dinner. We go there for dinner the next night, and it's, tomorrow night is fancy, well, I called it fancy night, but it's the semi-formal night.
Yeah.
We got all dressed up for that. I figured you only live once, right? After dinner, I don't know, we were pretty full. I think we just walked around outside for a little bit. Probably that tended to be our normal thing, because, Enchanted Garden was pretty far down and towards the back of the ship. So it was like probably 15 minutes just to get back up to the area. We probably went into the lounge. We met these two guys that were there with their little boy, who were really a lot of fun to talk to. And we would run into them in the lounge, or Guillermo, who was really sweet. Yeah. He was the one we ended up
talking most
just
of the
by
time.
random, ended up being the one who would be in there and would help us with different things. So yeah, so that's the end of our first day. I can't believe and so far so good. You don't feel anything?
Nope.
Nope, the seas are pretty calm. And they remain calm for the rest of the week, based on what I've heard other people tell and other videos I've seen. It was pretty calm, but yeah. So off we sail through the. We didn't even feel. You know what? I think maybe I was even expecting a little more rocking when we hit the Gulf Stream, because I know they don't probably. The ship, I'm sure, does not go perpendicular to it, because that seems, I'm guessing the ship maybe goes a little bit of an angle with it and then out. But most people who said when they hit that, it would be during dinner time, and they would be like, ooh, ooh. And when I would ask people about it, that would be when we would hit the Gulf Stream. But yeah, you did really.
I did pretty good.
We were happy and had your CPAP. There was a little mix-up with the water. We got spring water, not distilled water. And by the time we figured that out, the concierge lounge was closed. They're open from 7 in the morning until 10 p.m. at night. Somehow we managed to find someone. Oh, our what is that called? The person who takes care of your room. I'm just drawing a blank. I can't think of what she's called. I'll put the word up here later when I finally remember it.
She got us the...
She found us distilled water, so we were all set. And I slept really well. I think,
too.
A little bit of the motion, and that bed was so comfortable.
Yeah, it was.
I love that bed and that couch. If I could have figured out a way to somehow shove that couch like out and over the side of the ship when we got back to Port Canaveral, I might have done that. But yeah, it was really comfortable. So thanks for coming with us. Our first day at sea.
Day one.
Day one is over on the ship.
We'll see you the next day.
All right, thanks again.
Ko-osh.
Ko-osh.